Hello everyone, hope you're doing wonderful today. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be making a pattern in resin and see what kind of result we'll get at the end. I'm thinking of making this into a series, so the first pattern I'm going to do today is a circle. I'm using an agate circle mold which is around 3.8 inches or so. To get the best result while you're making your 3D patterns, it's very important that you use the correct resin. So there's low viscosity resin, medium viscosity, and high viscosity resin. So for 3D patterns, use medium to high viscosity resin to get the best result. My go-to resin for any 3D art is this brand called Isu Oxy. So you get the low viscosity resin as well as the medium viscosity resin. So this is 2:1 medium viscosity resin. So you can use it to create your 3D flowers, your ocean, beach art. The instructions on how much working time you have, what's the curing time, everything is mentioned on the bottle. So you've got an approximate working time of 45 minutes. So you're not too rushed. It will start becoming jelly around the 30-35 minutes. So you have to complete your design within that time. So this timing can vary depending on the temperature you're working with. If you're not working in a controlled temperature and if it's too hot, then the timings can decrease. If it's cold, rainy, then the timings will increase. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I've taken 17 grams of hardener and 34 grams of clear resin. So a total of around 51 grams of resin. Mix both the resin and the hardener really well. Okay, this is a very important step. Make sure that you scrape the bottom as well as the sides. So the resin and the hardener, it's two different densities. So there's a chance that one of them will be at the bottom, and if you don't mix well, then you will get uncured resin at the end. So this first step is really important. So do this step slowly and mix both of them really well until it's well combined. Mix this for about 2 to 3 minutes until the cloudy look goes away. Once everything is nicely combined, allow the resin to rest for around 5 minutes so that the any trapped air bubbles can rise to the top and pop on its own. I came back to the resin after 5 minutes and you can see that almost all the bubbles have disappeared. If there are any other air bubbles, it will be trapped at the surface and you can get rid of it with a flame lighter. To make any kind of 3D pattern, the resin needs to be a bit more thick. For the design to stay, you need a thicker consistency of resin. So right now the resin is very thin. So you can see it just flows like water. So we need to wait for a bit more time until the consistency of the resin becomes a bit more thicker. Keep checking the consistency of the resin every 5 minutes. So today the place where I'm working is cold, so the consistency that I needed was reached around the 30-35 minute mark. Once again, the timing will vary depending on the temperature of the day and also sometimes the brand of resin. If you're using a brand of resin for the first time, always test out a small batch to find out the correct timing. Once the desired consistency is met, the next step onwards has to move quickly. As I've mentioned before, out of the 50 gram of resin, 10 gram will be for the 3D pattern. So I'm going to remove 10 grams of resin in another cup. So this is the 10 gram of resin that I have removed from the total of 50 grams. Now to this 10 gram of resin, I'm going to add very little, just a little bit of white opaque pigment. So how much pigment should you take for this 10 gram of resin? Usually this is the amount I take at the end of a popsicle stick. So if the resin is increased, for example, you're doing it on a big surface and you've taken, for example, 20 to 30 grams of resin, the amount of pigment will accordingly increase. Another point to keep in mind, if you take too much pigment for little resin, there's a chance that while making the pattern, everything will sink to the bottom because it's heavy. If you take too little, there's a chance that the pattern won't spread. So it's important to take the correct amount of pigment to the amount of resin you've taken. Mix this really well and you can remove any air bubbles using a flame lighter. You can pour the pattern directly using this cup, or if you want more control and a bit more precision, you can transfer this into a small Ziploc bag and do the pour using that. So I'm going to use the Ziploc bag today. I've got a small one here and I'm going to just transfer this resin mix with white opaque pigment into it. Now pour the remaining resin, which is around 40 grams, into the mold. Make a small hole at one end of the Ziploc bag, which contains your resin mix with white opaque pigment. Make sure nothing is blocking the pour from that hole, and then start making your patterns. So today I'm going to make the circle patterns. We're going to just draw small circles all around the mold on the resin. Once your pattern is done, how it works is that as your resin cures, all the resin mixed with the pigment from the outside border is going to move towards the middle. The patterns will also follow the shape of the mold. So if I draw the same circles in a square mold, I will get a different result from now. Patterns are all done. So now I will wait for the resin to cure. This will take 24 hours. So we will come back tomorrow at the same time and see how the result is. It's been 24 hours and the resin has completely cured. Let's demold this and see the result that we've got. And here we go. So it's just lines but a bit more thicker in nature because we do a circle instead of a dot. I think we will be able to see the result a bit more better with a darker background. I've just got a black sheet of paper and here we go. You can see the pattern a bit more better with this background. So you can actually do another layer of resin mixed with black pigment and pour it on the other side to give a darker background. The white patterns will stand out better. If there is any other kind of pattern that you'd like me to try, please do let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, like and share. I'll see you soon in the next one.